It started with spilled coffee, one mistake, one apology, whispered in perfect Italian. And in that moment, the world stopped for Dae-Won Choi, the powerful Korean businessman with a past no one speaks about. Kayla didn't know his name. She didn't know his secrets. She didn't know she had just stepped into a love story and a war. Because while their connection burns fast and bright, someone else is watching. A jealous ex who refuses to let go. A vengeful ex-fiancée who never truly left. Two enemies, one woman caught between them, and a man willing to burn his world to protect the only person who has ever seen his heart. This isn't just love at first sight. This is the moment everything changes. Before we begin, if you love emotional romance stories, take a second to like this video and subscribe. It helps more people discover these beautiful narratives. Some people believe in the concept of love at first sight. Kayla never did until the moment she looked up from a pool of spilled coffee and locked eyes with a stranger who would change everything. He spoke to her in Italian, the language of her grandmother's heart, and suddenly the busy Seattle Convention Center faded away. In that instant, standing in her mess with brown liquid splashed across his expensive shoes, she felt something shift inside her chest, something that felt dangerously like destiny. The coffee cup shattered against the marble floor, sending brown liquid splashing across expensive Italian leather shoes. Kayla gasped, dropping to her knees immediately, her conference badge swinging forward as she frantically grabbed napkins from a nearby table. "I am so sorry. Please let me help clean this." The words tumbled out in perfect Italian, her grandmother's language flowing naturally when she was flustered. The man standing before her went completely still. Kayla looked up slowly, her hands freezing mid-wipe. He was tall, dressed in a black suit that probably cost more than her monthly rent, with dark eyes that seemed to look straight through her. His expression shifted from surprise to something else, something intense. "You speak Italian," he said, also in Italian, his accent carrying a slight Asian inflection that made the words sound exotic. Kayla straightened up, her heart hammering. "Yes, I learned from my grandmother. She was from Italy, married my grandfather in Addis Ababa. Again, I am truly sorry about your shoes. Your grandmother taught you well." He switched to English, his voice smooth and deep. "I am Dae-Won, and you are?" "Kayla. I work as a translator here at the conference." Around them, business people rushed past, heading to various meeting rooms in the Seattle Convention Center. The morning sun streamed through the glass walls, but Kayla felt like they were standing in their own private bubble. Dae-Won studied her face with an intensity that made her skin warm. "Have dinner with me tonight, Kayla." It was not quite a question, but not quite a command either. Something in between that made her stomach flip. "I don't even know you," she said, trying to sound reasonable, even though part of her wanted to say yes immediately. "Then dinner is how you will know me." He pulled out a business card, pressing it into her hand. His fingers were warm, and he held on a moment longer than necessary. 8 o'clock. I will send a car to pick you up." "I have not said yes yet." A small smile touched his lips. "But you will." Before Kayla could respond, a short man in glasses hurried over, speaking rapidly in Korean. Dae-Won replied without taking his eyes off her, then finally stepped back. "Until tonight, Kayla, who speaks Italian like a Roman." He walked away, the ruined shoes apparently forgotten, leaving Kayla standing there with her heart racing and his card burning in her palm. She looked down at it. The print was simple, elegant. Dae-Won Choi, CEO, Pacific Rim Trading Company. Her co-worker Fatima appeared at her elbow. "Girl, was that who I think it was? Dae-Won Choi. Do you know what people say about him?" "What do they say?" Fatima leaned in, her voice dropping. "That he is connected. Like, really connected. Import business is just the surface. My cousin works in international shipping, and she says his name comes up in conversations people stop having when others walk in." Kayla felt a shiver run down her spine, but it was not entirely from fear. "He asked me to dinner." "And you said?" "I have not answered yet. But you're going to say yes. I can see it on your face." Fatima shook her head, grinning. "Just be careful. Men like that are dangerous in more ways than one." The rest of the day dragged by impossibly slowly. Kayla tried to focus on translating business documents from Italian to English, but her mind kept wandering back to those intense, dark eyes, That slight smile, the way he had looked at her like she was the only person in the entire crowded convention center. She had not dated anyone seriously since Marcus. The memory still stung, even though it had been 8 months. Coming home early to surprise him, only to find him packing her grandmother's jewelry, the pieces he knew she treasured most. The fight that followed, his confession that he needed money for another woman, someone he said actually understood him. The way he had looked at her without guilt, like she was the problem for being upset. Kayla had sworn off men after that, focused on work, on rebuilding the savings he had stolen, on protecting her heart. But something about Dae-Won made her want to take a risk again. At 7:30, she stood in her small apartment, staring at her closet. She had finally texted the number on his card with her address, and he had simply replied with a thumbs-up emoji and, "See you soon." Now she was second-guessing everything. The red dress was too much, the blue one too casual. She finally settled on a deep purple wrap dress that her mother had sent. From Ethiopia, elegant without trying too hard. She was just finishing her makeup when her phone buzzed. "Your car has arrived." Kayla looked out the window of her third-floor apartment. A black car waited at the curb, sleek and expensive-looking. The driver stood beside it, waiting patiently. "This is crazy," she thought. "You don't even know this man." But she grabbed her purse anyway and headed downstairs. The restaurant was not what she expected. Instead of some flashy, expensive place, the driver took her to a small Italian restaurant tucked away in a quiet neighborhood. Warm light glowed from the windows, and she could smell garlic and fresh bread from the sidewalk. Dae-Won was waiting outside, and he smiled when he saw her. He had changed into dark jeans and a white button-down shirt, looking somehow both casual and completely put together. "You came," he said. "You seemed very certain I would. I hoped. There is a difference." He offered his arm. "This place is special. The owner is from Naples, and she cooks like someone's beloved grandmother. I thought since you love Italian, you might appreciate it." The interior was cozy, with only about 10 tables, half of them empty. An older woman rushed over, greeting Dae-Won with loud enthusiasm in Italian, kissing both his cheeks. She looked at Kayla with bright, curious eyes. "And who is this beautiful girl?" "This is Kayla," Dae-Won said. "She speaks Italian better than I do." The woman, who introduced herself as Rosa, immediately launched into rapid Italian, asking Kayla about her family, her grandmother, her life. Kayla found herself laughing and answering, feeling more relaxed than she had in months. Rosa finally left them with wine and a promise that she would bring them the best meal they had ever tasted. "So," Dae-Won said, leaning back in his chair, "tell me about Kayla, who spills coffee and speaks beautiful Italian." "There is not much to tell. I grew up in Addis Ababa until I was 12. Then my family moved here. My grandmother, my father's mother, was Italian. She taught me the language, the culture, everything. She passed away 2 years ago, but I still feel her with me when I speak Italian." "I am sorry for your loss. She clearly gave you a great gift." "What about you? Korean man who comes to small Italian restaurants and speaks the language?" "I spent 2 years in Milan for business, fell in love with everything about Italy, the food, the art, the way Italians live life like every moment matters." He paused, his expression growing more serious. "I moved to Seattle 6 months ago. Fresh start. Sometimes you need to leave everything behind and begin again." There was a story there, Kayla could tell. Pain hidden behind those carefully chosen words. Before she could ask more, Rosa arrived with plates of pasta that smelled like heaven. The meal was incredible. They talked about everything and nothing. Favorite books, worst jobs, childhood dreams. Dae-Won was surprisingly easy to talk to, listening intently when she spoke, asking questions that showed he was really paying attention. He told her about growing up in Seoul, about his complicated relationship with his family, about building his business from almost nothing. "Why did you really ask me to dinner?" Kayla asked as they shared tiramisu. "Because I speak Italian?" "No." His gaze held hers. "Because when you looked up at me this morning, something shifted. I have not felt that in a very long time. Maybe ever. I wanted to know if I imagined it." "And did you?" "No." "Did you?" Kayla's mouth went dry. "No." They left the restaurant 2 hours later, full and slightly wine-warm. The night air was cool, and Kayla shivered. Without a word, Dae-Won shrugged off his jacket and draped it over her shoulders. It smelled like his cologne, something woody and clean. "I should get you home," he said. "Probably." But neither of them moved toward the car. They stood there on the quiet street, the city humming around them, existing in their own small world. "Kayla, I need you to know something." Dae-Won's voice was low, serious. "My life is complicated. There are things about my business, my past, that are not simple. If we do this, if we see where this goes, it will not always be easy. Are you trying to scare me away? I'm trying to be honest. You deserve that." Kayla thought about Marcus, about lies and betrayal and trusting the wrong person, but she also thought about how it felt to sit across from Dae-Won, how natural their conversation had been, how he had looked at her like she mattered. "I appreciate honesty," she said finally, "and I think we should see where this goes." His smile was slow, genuine, reaching his eyes and making him look younger. "Good. That is very good." He walked her to the car, but before she could get in, he caught her hand. In one smooth movement, he pulled her close, his hand cupping her face gently. The kiss was soft, questioning, giving her space to pull away if she wanted. She did not want to. When they finally separated, both slightly breathless, Dae-Won rested his forehead against hers. "I will call you tomorrow," he whispered. "You better." On the drive home, Kayla touched her lips, still feeling the warmth of that kiss. Her phone buzzed. A text from Dae-Won. "Thank you for taking a chance on dinner, and on me." She smiled, typing back quickly. "Thank you for the best Italian food in Seattle, and for being honest. Honesty is important to me. So is keeping promises. Sleep well, Kayla." She looked out at the city lights streaming past, her heart full of hope and possibility. Maybe this time would be different. Maybe this time trust would not end in heartbreak. But as the car turned onto her street, she did not notice the figure standing in the shadows across from her building, watching. Did not see the way Marcus stepped forward into the streetlight, his face twisted with anger and something darker. He had heard through mutual friends that Kayla was at dinner with some rich businessman. He had come to talk to her, to make her understand that they belonged together. Now, watching her step out of that expensive car with that dreamy look on her face, he felt rage building in his chest. She was his. She just needed to remember that. And he would make sure she did. 3 days had passed since that first dinner, and Kayla felt like she was living in a dream. Dae-Won had not just called the next day. He had shown up at the convention center with lunch, surprising her during her break. They had eaten sandwiches on a bench outside, talking like they had known each other for years instead of days. The second evening, he had taken her to a small jazz club where a Korean pianist played fusion music that blended traditional sounds with modern beats. They had sat close in the dim lighting, his hand finding hers, their fingers intertwining like it was the most natural thing in the world. Now, on Friday evening, Kayla stood in front of her bathroom mirror, getting ready for another date. Fatima had already called twice, demanding details, calling her a romance novel protagonist, and insisting that this kind of whirlwind thing only happened in movies. But it was happening, and it felt real. Her phone rang. Dae-Won's name lit up the screen, and she felt that now familiar flutter in her stomach. "Hello. I am outside, but I have a confession to make." "Oh no. Should I be worried?" His laugh was warm through the phone. "I hope not. I changed our plans. Instead of the restaurant, I want to take you somewhere else. Somewhere important to me. Is that okay?" "Mysterious. I like it. Give me 2 minutes." She grabbed her jacket and hurried downstairs. Dae-Won leaned against his car, and when he saw her, his entire face lit up. That look never got old. "You look beautiful," he said, kissing her cheek softly. "You say that every time you see me." "Because it is true, every time." They drove out of the city, heading toward the water. Kayla watched the buildings give way to trees, the sky turning pink and orange with sunset. Finally, they pulled up to a small house overlooking Puget Sound. It was modest but well kept, with a garden full of flowers and a wide porch. "Where are we?" Kayla asked. "This was my grandmother's house. She passed away 5 years ago, but I kept it. Sometimes I come here when I need to think, to remember." He looked at her, his expression vulnerable in a way she had not seen before. "I wanted to share it with you." They walked inside. The house was cozy, filled with photos and small treasures. Korean ceramics sat beside Italian pottery. Books in multiple languages lined the shelves. In the kitchen, Dae-Won started pulling out ingredients. "We are cooking," Kayla asked, delighted. "I am cooking. You are keeping me company and telling me about your week." As he chopped vegetables and heated oil, Kayla sat on the counter, swinging her legs and talking. She told him about the difficult client who kept changing his mind about translations, about her mother's latest phone call from Ethiopia, where she complained about Kayla not visiting enough, about the stray cat that had adopted her apartment building. "Your turn," she said. "Tell me something real, something that matters." Dae-Won was quiet for a moment, stirring the pan. "I was supposed to get married 2 years ago. Her name was Sun-hee. We had known each other since university. Everyone said we were perfect together." Kayla's heart clenched, but she stayed quiet, letting him talk. 3 months before the wedding, I came home early from a business trip. Found her with someone else. My business partner, actually. Former business partner now. His voice was steady, but Kayla could hear the old pain underneath. The betrayal was bad enough, but then she started spreading rumors about me, trying to destroy my reputation. Said I was abusive, controlling, dangerous. None of it was true, but people believed her anyway. Or at least, enough people did that it damaged everything I had built. "That is why you left SEOUL," Kayla said softly. "Yes. Fresh start, like I said. I kept the business, rebuilt my reputation slowly, but I left the personal connections behind, came here to focus on work and nothing else." He turned to face her, his eyes intense. "Until I met a woman who spilled coffee on my shoes and spoke Italian like music." Kayla slid off the counter, moving closer to him. "I have a betrayal story too. Want to hear it?" "Only if you want to tell it." "His name was Marcus. We dated for 2 years. I thought we would get married, build a life together. I was saving money to help us get a better apartment, working extra hours, planning our future." She took a breath, the memory still sharp. "Came home early one day and caught him packing up my grandmother's jewelry, the pieces she left me, the ones that meant everything. He needed money, he said, for another woman, someone he had been seeing for 6 months." Dae-Won's jaw tightened. "Did you get the jewelry back?" "Most of it. The police helped, but some pieces were already sold, gone forever." She shook her head. "The worst part was not even the stealing. It was how he looked at me, like I was being unreasonable for being upset. Like my feelings did not matter at all. People who betray trust like that don't deserve the love they were given," Dae-Won said quietly. He reached for her hand. "But their betrayal does not mean everyone will betray you. I learned that the hard way. Are you saying I should trust you?" "I am saying I hope you will give me the chance to earn that trust, every day, in small ways and big ones." Kayla felt tears prick her eyes, but they were good tears. Happy ones. "I think I would like that." He kissed her then, deeper than before, pulling her close. The food on the stove sizzled, forgotten for a moment, as they held each other. When they finally broke apart, both slightly breathless, Dae-Won laughed. "I am about to burn dinner." "That would be tragic. I am very hungry." They ate on the porch as the sun set over the water, the sky turning purple and gold. The food was delicious. Some Korean dish Kayla had never tried before, spicy and flavorful. They talked about their families, their dreams, the things they wanted from life. "I want to open my own translation business someday," Kayla confessed. "Not just work for other people, build something that is mine." "You should. You would be brilliant at it." "Just like that. You think I should do it?" "Why not? Life is too short to not chase what you want." He leaned back, looking at the water. "My grandmother used to say that regret weighs more than failure. Better to try and fail than to never try at all." Wise woman. The wisest. She would have liked you. After dinner, they walked along the beach below the house. Shoes off, feet in the cold water. The moon was rising, full and bright. Dae-Won talked about his plans to expand the business, about wanting to create something legitimate and clean, leaving behind the shadowy connections that had helped him get started. "Is that why people whisper about you?" Kayla asked. "Because of those connections." He stopped walking, turning to face her. "Yes. Some of the people I work with are not completely legal in their operations. I keep my own business clean, but I cannot pretend I do not know them or do not sometimes benefit from those relationships. It is complicated." "Are you in danger?" "No, not anymore. I made my choices carefully when I left SEOUL, But I will not lie to you, Kayla. My past is not perfect, neither is my present. If that is too much, I understand. Kayla thought about it, really thought about it. This was the moment to walk away if she was going to. To protect herself, play it safe, avoid potential heartbreak. But when she looked at Dae-Won, standing there in the moonlight, being completely honest with her, she knew she did not want safe. She wanted this, wanted him, wanted to see where this connection could go. I am not going anywhere, she said firmly. His smile was like sunrise. No, no. We both have complicated pasts, but maybe that means we understand each other better. Maybe that means we will not take this for granted. He pulled her close, kissing her forehead, her cheeks, finally her lips. The kiss was different this time, deeper, more urgent, full of promise and heat. When his hands slid into her hair, when her body pressed against his, Kayla felt like she was burning from the inside out. We should go back inside, Dae-Won whispered against her lips. Yes. They barely made it through the door before they were kissing again, stumbling toward the couch. His hands were gentle but sure, asking permission with every touch. Kayla had never felt so wanted, so seen. They took their time, learning each other, the rest of the world falling away until there was nothing but them. This moment, this connection. Later, lying tangled together under a soft blanket, Kayla felt peace settle over her like a physical thing. Dae-Won's fingers traced patterns on her shoulder, his breathing steady and calm. I did not plan this, he said softly. I just wanted to show you the house. I know, but I am glad it happened. Me too. Very glad. He kissed the top of her head. Stay tonight. Wake up with me. Let me make you breakfast. That sounds perfect. They fell asleep like that, wrapped around each other, both feeling like they had found something they had not even known they were looking for. When morning came, sunlight streaming through the windows, Kayla woke to find Dae-Won already awake, watching her with a soft expression. Good morning, beautiful. Good morning. Have you been awake long? A little while. I like watching you sleep. You look peaceful. Not creepy at all, she teased, stretching. He laughed, pulling her close. Come on, I promised you breakfast, and I keep my promises. They cooked together this time, bumping hips and stealing kisses while making eggs and toast. It felt domestic, comfortable, like they had been doing this for years. Kayla could not remember ever feeling this happy, this content. Her phone buzzed. She glanced at it, expecting Fatima, but the name that appeared made her blood run cold. Marcus, we need to talk. I know you have been seeing someone. Don't make a mistake you will regret. Dae-Won noticed her expression change. What is wrong? My ex. He is texting me. What does he want? I don't know. I have not responded to any of his messages in months. I thought he had finally moved on. Dae-Won's expression hardened. Forward me his number and any other messages he sends. If he becomes a problem, I will handle it. You don't have to do that. Yes, I do. You are mine now, Kayla. That means I protect what is mine. The possessiveness in his voice should have bothered her. Instead, it made her feel safe, cherished. She forwarded the message, then blocked Marcus's number entirely. There, done. I do not want him ruining this perfect morning. They spent the rest of the day at the beach house, talking and laughing and learning more about each other. It was not until evening, when Dae-Won was driving her home, that reality started creeping back in. I have to go to San Francisco next week, he said. Business meetings that I cannot avoid. 4 days. That is okay. I have work too. Come with me. Kayla blinked. What? Come with me. We can turn it into a small trip. I will have meetings during the day, but evenings and nights will be ours. Say yes. That is crazy. We barely know each other. So, let us get to know each other better. In a new city, with good food and better company. Kayla knew she should say no. This was moving too fast, too intense, but looking at his hopeful expression, feeling the warmth in her chest when she thought about 4 days together, she found herself nodding. Okay, yes, let us do it. His grin was brilliant. You will not regret this. But as he kissed her goodnight outside her apartment building, neither of them noticed the car parked across the street, did not see Marcus sitting behind the wheel, his hands gripping it so tight his knuckles were white. He had followed them from the beach house, watching them all day through the windows, seeing how she looked at this stranger, how she touched him, how she smiled. That should be him. He had made mistakes, yes, but she was supposed to forgive him. That was what love meant. Instead, she had moved on. With someone else. Someone who clearly had money and power. Someone who looked at her like she was precious. Marcus felt something dark and ugly twist in his chest. This was not over, not by a long shot. San Francisco was everything Dae-Won had promised, and more. They stayed in a hotel with views of the bay, spent evenings walking through North Beach, eating Italian food, visited art galleries and bookshops tucked into narrow streets. While Dae-Won attended meetings, Kayla explored the city, feeling free and adventurous in a way she had not felt in years. On their second night, they had dinner at a rooftop restaurant where the city lights sparkled like stars. Dae-Won reached across the table, taking her hand. "I need to tell you something." "That sounds serious." "Not bad serious. Good serious, I hope." He took a breath. "I am falling for you, Kayla. Fast and hard. I know it has only been 2 weeks, but I cannot pretend I feel casual about this. About you." Her heart squeezed. "I am falling too. It scares me how much." "Me too. But the good kind of scared, the kind that means something real is happening." That night, back in their hotel room, they made love slowly, taking their time, memorizing each other. Afterward, lying in the darkness with the city glowing beyond the windows, Kayla felt complete in a way she had never experienced. "Tell me something you have never told anyone else," she whispered. Dae-Won was quiet for a long moment. "Sometimes I am afraid I will end up alone, that everyone I let close will eventually leave or betray me, that there is something fundamentally wrong with me that makes me unlovable. There is nothing wrong with you. Sunhee was the problem, not you. Logically, I know that, but hearts do not always listen to logic. No, they do not." She propped herself up on one elbow, looking at him in the dim light. "But I am not her. I am not going anywhere. Promise?" "Promise." They flew back to Seattle, feeling closer than ever. Kayla had never been happier. Even work felt easier, lighter. She found herself smiling at random moments, thinking about Dae-Won's laugh, his touch, the way he looked at her. Then came the dinner, where everything shifted. "I want you to meet someone important," Dae-Won said over the phone. "My best friend, Sung-min. He is like a brother to me. His opinion matters." They met at a Korean barbecue restaurant. Sung-min was shorter than Dae-Won, with an easy smile and sharp eyes that missed nothing. He greeted Kayla warmly, immediately launching into stories about Dae-Won's college days that made her laugh until her sides hurt. "He really climbed the fountain drunk," Kayla gasped. "In his underwear," Sung-min confirmed. "Security had to get him down. It was legendary." "You promised never to tell that story." Dae-Won groaned, but he was smiling. As they ate, Sung-min grew more serious. "Kayla, I have known this man for 15 years. I have never seen him like this. Happy. Really happy. Whatever you are doing, keep doing it. I am just being myself. Then yourself is exactly what he needs." After dinner, as they were leaving, Sung-min pulled Kayla aside while Dae-Won took a phone call. "Be patient with him," he said quietly. "What Sunhee did, the rumors she spread, it damaged him more than he admits. He acts strong, but trust is hard for him now. If you are serious about this, you need to know that." "I am serious. Very serious." "Good, because he is serious too, and Dae-Won does not do anything halfway." That weekend, Dae-Won surprised her with keys. "What are these?" Kayla asked, staring at the small keyring in her palm. "Keys to my apartment. I want you to be able to come and go as you please. I want you in my space, my life, all of it." "Dae-Won, this is big." "I know. Too big. Too fast." She thought about it, really thought about it. Every instinct told her this was moving at lightning speed. But when had playing it safe ever made her happy? When had caution ever led to joy? "Not too fast," she said finally. "Just right." His smile could have lit the city. "Yeah?" "Yeah. But this means you are getting keys to my place too. Fair is fair." They spent that evening at his apartment. cooking dinner together, dancing in the kitchen to old jazz music, making love on the couch because they could not wait to get to the bedroom. Everything felt perfect, like puzzle pieces clicking into place. But perfection never lasts. It started with small things. A feeling of being watched when Kayla walked home from work. Items in her apartment moved slightly, though she could not be sure she had not moved them herself. Strange calls where no one spoke when she answered. She told herself she was being paranoid, stressed from work, overthinking. Then came the flowers. She found them on her doorstep one morning. Red roses with no card, no note. They were beautiful, but something about them felt wrong. She threw them away, trying to shake the uneasy feeling. 2 days later, more flowers. This time with a note in handwriting she recognized instantly. "You looked beautiful in that purple dress, the one you wore to the Italian restaurant. Remember when we used to go to places like that? We could again." Marcus. Her hands shook as she called Dae-Won. "He is watching me. I do not know for how long, but he has been watching me. I am coming over now. Do not open the door for anyone but me." Dae-Won arrived 20 minutes later with Sung-min. They checked her apartment thoroughly, changed her locks, installed a security camera at her door. "You are staying with me until this is sorted," Dae-Won said, his voice leaving no room for argument. "He cannot just control my life like this." "He will not. I will make sure of it, but I need you safe, Kayla. I cannot focus on anything else if I am worried about you." She wanted to argue, to insist she could handle it herself, but the truth was, she was scared. Marcus had never been violent, but she had never seen him like this before either. Obsessed, unstable. "Okay, I will stay with you." That night, wrapped in Dae-Won's arms in his bed, Kayla tried to sleep, but kept seeing Marcus's handwriting, those roses, the implication that he had been watching her for who knows how long. "What are you thinking?" Dae-Won whispered in the darkness. "That I brought this into your life. This mess, this danger. You did not sign up for this. I signed up for you. That means I signed up for everything that comes with you, the beautiful parts and the complicated parts." He kissed her temple. "We will handle this together, I promise." But handling it proved more complicated than either of them expected, because the next day, someone else from the past reappeared. Dae-Won's phone rang during breakfast. Kayla watched his face change as he answered, watched him go completely still. "What are you doing in Seattle?" His voice was cold, controlled. "No, absolutely not. I have nothing to say to you." He hung up, his jaw tight. "That was Sun-hee. She is in Seattle, wants to meet to talk." Kayla felt ice slide down her spine. "Why?" "She claims it is business, that she has opportunities for collaboration, but Sun-hee does not do anything without an agenda." "Are you going to meet her?" "No. I have no interest in anything she has to say." But Sun-hee was not someone who took no for an answer. 2 days later, Kayla was leaving work when a sleek black car pulled up beside her. The window rolled down, revealing an elegant woman with perfect makeup and cold eyes. "You must be Kayla. I am Sun-hee. We should talk." "I have nothing to say to you." "But I have things to say to you, about Dae-Won, about the life you think you are building with him." She smiled, sharp and cruel. "Get in the car, 5 minutes, then I will leave you alone." Every instinct told Kayla to walk away, but curiosity and something else, something like needing to face this threat head-on, made her open the door. 5 minutes, Kayla said coldly. Sun-hee smiled wider. "That is all I need." The car pulled away from the curb, and Kayla realized she might have just made a terrible mistake. Sun-hee's car was all leather and expensive perfume, the kind of luxury that felt suffocating rather than comfortable. Kayla sat stiffly in the passenger seat, her hand hovering near the door handle, ready to jump out at the first red light if necessary. "Relax," Sun-hee said, her English perfect with just a hint of an accent. "I am not going to kidnap you. We are just going to drive and talk. You have 5 minutes. Start talking." "Direct. I like that. Dae-Won always preferred women with spine." She glanced at Kayla, her expression calculating. "He told you about me?" "Yes." "About our relationship." "He told me you cheated on him, that you spread lies about him afterward, that you tried to destroy him." "Is that what he said?" Sun-hee laughed, but there was no humor in it. "How interesting. Did he tell you why I left?" "Because you are a terrible person." "Because he was becoming someone I did not recognize, someone dangerous, someone involved with people who make problems disappear. She pulled the car over into a parking lot overlooking the water. The business partner I left him for? Dae-Won ruined his life, destroyed his company, his reputation, everything, all because I chose someone else. You expect me to believe you are the victim here? I expect you to be smart enough to ask questions, to wonder why a man who seems so perfect, so gentle with you, has the kind of connections he does, to wonder what he is capable of when someone crosses him. Kayla's stomach twisted, but she kept her voice steady. Get to the point. What do you want? I want you to understand what you are getting into. Dae-Won is not some simple businessman. The people he works with, the deals he makes, they are not all legal, and when people become inconvenient to him, they tend to disappear from his life in very final ways. He left SEOUL. He left all of that behind. Did he? Or did he just move his operations somewhere new? Sun-hee pulled out her phone, showing Kayla a series of photos. Men in expensive suits meeting in dim restaurants. Documents with signatures. I still have connections in SEOUL. I hear things. Dae-Won's business is thriving, yes, but not just from legitimate imports and exports. Kayla looked at the photos, her mind racing. They proved nothing. Not really. Just business meetings. But doubt crept in anyway. Unwanted and persistent. Why are you telling me this? Because I made the mistake of ignoring warning signs, of believing what I wanted to believe instead of seeing the truth. You seem like a nice girl. I am giving you a chance to walk away before you are in too deep. Sun-hee's expression softened slightly, almost looking genuine. Leave him. Now. Before he makes you a part of his world in ways you cannot escape. I'm not leaving him. Then you are a fool. Sun-hee started the car again. But I tried. Remember that I tried to warn you. She drove Kayla back to the office building and dropped her off without another word. Kayla stood on the sidewalk, her heart pounding, her mind spinning. With doubts and questions she did not want to have. She should call Dae-Won immediately, tell him what happened, but something stopped her. Sun-hee's words echoed in her head. The photos, the implications. Instead, she went back to Dae-Won's apartment where she had been staying, using the key he had given her. The place was empty. He was at meetings, would not be home for another few hours. Kayla told herself she was not snooping. She was just curious. But she found herself opening drawers, looking through papers on his desk, searching for something she could not even name. Most of it was boring business documents, invoices, contracts, shipping manifests. Nothing suspicious. She was starting to feel guilty when she found the locked drawer in his home office. She should not. She absolutely should not. But she picked the lock anyway, using skills her brother had taught her as a teenager, skills she had not used in years. Inside were folders, carefully organized. She pulled one out, opened it. Bank statements, large transfers to and from accounts she did not recognize, payments labeled only with numbers, no names attached, meeting notes in Korean that she could not read, and photos. More men in suits, meeting in what looked like warehouses, loading docks, places that did not look like typical business settings. Her hands shook as she put everything back exactly as she had found it. She locked the drawer again, but she could not lock away what she had seen. When Dae-Won came home 2 hours later, he found her sitting on the couch, staring at nothing. "Hey, beautiful, how was your day?" He leaned down to kiss her, but she turned her head slightly so his lips caught her cheek instead of her mouth. He noticed immediately. "What is wrong? Tell me the truth about your business, all of it." His expression shuddered. "What brought this on?" "Sun-hee found me today, showed me things, said things, and I need to know if any of it is true." Dae-Won sat down slowly, his face unreadable. "What exactly did she show you?" "Photos, documents. She said you are still involved with dangerous people, that your business is not as clean as you claim, and you believed her." "I do not know what to believe. You told me you left that life behind, that you were building something legitimate. But she had evidence, Dae-Won. Photos of you with people who do not look like normal business partners." "So you are taking the word of a woman who betrayed me, who tried to destroy me, over mine." His voice was controlled, but she could hear the anger underneath. "I am asking you to explain, to help me understand." Dae-Won stood pacing across the room. When he spoke again, his voice was low, dangerous. I told you my life was complicated. I told you there were connections I could not just erase overnight. Yes, some of the people I work with are not completely clean. Yes, there are deals I make that exist in gray areas. But everything I do to protect what I have built, to protect the people who matter to me. That is not an answer. That is justification. What do you want me to say? That I am perfect? That every deal I have ever made was completely legal and above board? I cannot say that, Kayla. I will not lie to you. But you were not exactly being honest either. I told you enough. I told you to trust me. I thought you did. I did. I do. But she said things, showed me things, and now I am confused and scared, and I do not know what to think. They stared at each other across the room, the distance feeling like miles instead of feet. She is trying to break us apart, Dae-Won said finally. That is what this is. She wants you to doubt me, to leave me, because she cannot stand that I found happiness without her. Or she is trying to save me from making a terrible mistake. The words hung in the air between them, sharp and painful. Dae-Won's expression went cold. If that is what you think, maybe you should leave. Maybe I should. She expected him to argue, to fight to make her stay. Instead, he just nodded slowly. I will have someone drive you home. Your things can be sent tomorrow. That is it. I am supposed to just go. I will not force you to stay somewhere you do not want to be, with someone you do not trust. His voice was empty now, hollow. I thought we had something real. I thought you knew me. But maybe I was wrong. Kayla felt tears burning in her eyes, but she refused to let them fall. She grabbed her purse, her jacket, moving like she was in a dream. At the door, she turned back. I do know you. That is what makes this so hard. I know you, and I care about you, and I am terrified that caring about you means getting hurt. Then you already made your choice. She left, the door closing behind her with a soft click that sounded like an ending. The driver took her back to her apartment in silence. She climbed the stairs slowly, each step feeling heavier than the last. When she opened her door, she found more flowers waiting inside. More roses, more notes. He is not who you think he is. Come back to me. I forgive you. Marcus had been in her apartment. Despite the new locks, despite everything, he had found a way in. Kayla sank to the floor, surrounded by roses and regret, and finally let herself cry. She had pushed away the one person who made her feel safe because of fear and doubt. And now she was alone with someone who was becoming increasingly unstable. Her phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. I hope you made the right choice, but something tells me you will regret it. They always do. Sun-hee. Another buzz. This time from Sung-min. I do not know what happened, but Dae-Won just called me. He sounds destroyed. Whatever it is, please fix it. He does not let people in. You got in. Do not waste that. Kayla stared at the messages, at the roses, at the empty apartment. She thought about Dae-Won's face when she left, the pain he had tried to hide. She thought about Sun-hee's smug smile, about Marcus's obsession, about all the ways fear had controlled her life since that betrayal months ago. She was tired of being afraid, tired of letting other people's damage determine her choices, but she was also tired of not knowing the full truth. Her phone rang. Dae-Won's name lit up the screen. She answered, her heart in her throat. I should not have let you leave like that, he said, his voice rough. I should have fought harder, explained better. I am sorry. I am sorry too. I let her get in my head. I let doubt win. Are you safe? Are you okay? Marcus was in my apartment again, even with the new locks. He left flowers, notes. Dae-Won, I am scared. I am coming, right now. We will figure everything out, but first, I need you safe. Okay, hurry. She hung up, feeling some of the tension leave her body, but as she looked around the apartment, at the roses scattered everywhere, she could not shake the feeling that things were about to get much worse before they got better. And somewhere across the city, Marcus smiled to himself, preparing for the next phase of his plan. Sun-hee was also smiling, pleased with the seeds of doubt she had planted. Neither of them realized they were about to underestimate exactly what Dae-Won was willing to do to protect the woman he loved. Dae-Won arrived at her apartment in record time, Sung-min right behind him. They swept through every room, checking windows, closets, every possible hiding place. Finding nothing did not make Kayla feel better. It just meant Marcus had been there and left, which somehow felt worse. Pack a bag, Dae-Won said, his voice leaving no room for argument. You are not staying here tonight. We will figure out something more permanent tomorrow, but right now, I just need you somewhere. I know you are safe. I can get a hotel. You are not going to a hotel. You are coming with me. We can talk there. Really talk. But first, safety. Everything else is secondary. Kayla packed quickly, throwing clothes into a bag, while Sungmin took photos of the roses, the notes, documenting everything for the police report they would file in the morning. As they were leaving, a neighbor stopped them in the hallway. Oh, Kayla, that man who was looking for you earlier. Did he find you? Her blood went cold. What man? I do not know his name. He said he was your boyfriend, that he needed to drop something off for you. I told him you were not home, but I think he might have had a key because I saw him going into your apartment about an hour ago. Dae-Won's jaw tightened, but his voice stayed calm. What did he look like? The neighbor described Marcus perfectly. When she finished, Dae-Won thanked her and guided Kayla toward his car, his hand firm on her back. We are filing a restraining order first thing tomorrow morning, he said once they were in the car. And I am going to have a conversation with Marcus, one that makes it very clear what happens if he comes near you again. What kind of conversation? The kind where he understands I am not someone to test. They drove in silence for a while before Kayla spoke. I need you to tell me everything about your business, about the people you work with, all of it. I cannot keep wondering and worrying. I need the truth. Okay, but not tonight. Tonight, you have been through enough. Tomorrow, I will tell you everything. I will show you documents, introduce you to people, whatever you need. But tonight, just let me take care of you. Back at his apartment, Dae-Won ran her a bath, made her tea, held her while she finally let herself break down. All the fear and stress of the past weeks came pouring out. He just held her, not trying to fix it, not offering empty reassurances, just being there. I'm sorry I doubted you, she whispered against his chest. I am sorry I was not more open from the beginning. I was protecting myself, keeping parts of my life separate because it felt safer. But you deserve better than that. You deserve all of me, not just the parts I think you can handle. They went to bed, holding each other, neither sleeping much, both processing everything that had happened. Morning came too soon. Dae-Won made coffee while Kayla showered, and when she emerged, she found him sitting at his dining table with a stack of folders. As promised, he said, the truth, all of it. For the next 2 hours, he walked her through his business, the legitimate imports and exports that made up 80% of his income, the gray area deals that accounted for the rest, people who needed things moved without excessive questions, who paid premium prices for discretion. He showed her records proving that nothing he handled was illegal, just existed in the space between completely legitimate and completely transparent. I do not smuggle drugs or weapons, he said firmly. I do not traffic people. I do not deal in anything that harms others directly, but I do work with people who probably do those things. I help them move their legitimate goods, and I do not ask too many questions about their other business. That is the gray area. That is what Sun-hee was referring to. Why not just refuse to work with them? Because when I started, they were the only ones willing to give me a chance. They helped me build this. And yes, I could walk away now. Cut all ties. But some debts are not about money. They are about loyalty and history, and the fact that these people could make my life very difficult if they chose to. Are they dangerous? They can be, but I am valuable to them. I make their lives easier. As long as I continue to do that, I am protected. We are protected. Kayla absorbed all of this, turning it over in her mind. It was not the answer she wanted. She wished he could tell her everything was completely clean and simple, but at least it was honest. I appreciate you telling me this. Do you want to walk away? I will understand if you do. She thought about it, really thought about it. Then she shook her head. No, I am not walking away, but I need you to promise me something. If you are ever in danger, if there is ever a problem I should know about, you tell me. No protecting me by keeping me in the dark. We are partners, or we are nothing. Partners, he agreed, reaching for her hand. I can promise that. And I need to promise something too. I will not let outside voices make me doubt us again. Not Sun-hee, not Marcus, not anyone. If I have concerns, I bring them to you directly. Deal. They sealed it with a kiss, soft and full of promise. The rest of the day was spent filing police reports and restraining order paperwork. By evening, Kayla was exhausted but felt better, like they had faced something hard and come out stronger, until Dae-Won's phone rang. She watched his expression change as he listened, watched him go very still in a way that made her nervous. "When?" he asked. How did they know to contact each other? He hung up, his jaw tight. That was Sung-min. He has sources who keep an eye on things. Apparently Marcus and Sun-hee have been in contact. They met for coffee this morning. What? Why would they even know about each other? Because Sun-hee made sure Marcus knew about her. She probably reached out to him, offered information about me, suggested they could help each other. Help each other do what? Break us apart. She plants doubt in your mind about me. He uses that doubt to convince you to come back to him. They both get what they want. Kayla felt sick. That is twisted. That is Sun-hee. She does not care who she hurts as long as she wins. So what do we do? Dae-Won was quiet for a moment. Then his expression hardened into something Kayla had never seen before, something cold and determined. We end this, both of them, permanently. What does that mean? It means I am done playing nice, done letting them harass you, threaten you, try to destroy what we have. Tomorrow I am going to have conversations with both of them, and when I am done, they will not bother us again. Dae-Won, do not do anything that will get you in trouble. I will not, but they need to understand that there are consequences for their actions, and those consequences are coming. That night, as they lay in bed, Kayla could not shake the feeling that they were standing on the edge of something, that whatever happened next would determine everything. I love you, she said suddenly, the words surprising her even as they came out. Dae-Won went very still. What? I love you. I should have said it before, but I was scared. I am done being scared. I love you, Dae-Won. Whatever happens next, I need you to know that. He pulled her close, burying his face in her hair. I love you too. So much it terrifies me. I've never felt this way about anyone, not even close. They made love then, slow and tender, like they were memorizing each other, like they were preparing for battle and needed to store up strength, because that was exactly what they were doing. The next morning, Dae-Won kissed Kayla goodbye and left with Sung-min. He would not tell her exactly what he had planned, just that she should stay at the apartment and not answer the door for anyone but him. Hours crawled by. Kayla tried to work, to distract herself, but her mind kept racing. She kept checking her phone, waiting for updates that did not come. Finally, late afternoon, Dae-Won returned. He looked tired but satisfied. It is done. What happened? I had a conversation with Marcus first, made it very clear that if he came near you again, if he so much as texted you, things would become very unpleasant for him. Showed him exactly what I have the power to do. He believed me. And Sun-hee? She was harder, kept trying to act like she was the victim, like she was just concerned for you. So I reminded her of a few things she probably wanted to stay buried. Old secrets from SEOUL that could resurface if she did not leave us alone. She understood the message. So it is over? Just like that? For now, they might try again eventually, but not anytime soon. And by then, you and I will be even stronger. Unbreakable. Kayla let out a breath she had not realized she was holding. I was so worried. I told you I would protect you. I keep my promises. That evening, they cooked dinner together, the tension finally easing. They talked about the future, about Kayla's dream translation business, about maybe looking for a place together, something that was theirs, not his or hers, but theirs. I want to build a life with you, Dae-Won said, a real one, not perfect because nothing is perfect, but honest and strong and full of love. I want that too. They were cleaning up the dishes when Kayla's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number made her blood run cold. You think this is over? You think he can threaten me and I will just disappear? You both are going to regret this. Very soon. The number was immediately blocked when she tried to call it back. Her hands shook as she showed Dae-Won. His expression went dark. Forward that to me. Now. What are you going to do? Whatever I have to. They just made this personal, and that was a mistake. Kayla felt fear and something else. Pride. Because Dae-Won was not running. He was not backing down. He was standing his ground, protecting what mattered. That night, neither of them slept well. They both knew this was not over, not really. But they also knew they would face it together, and together they were stronger than any force trying to tear them apart. 3 days passed with no further contact from Marcus or Sun-hee. Dae-Won had people watching both of them, tracking their movements, making sure they stayed away. Kayla tried to relax, to believe it was really over, but the fear lingered like a shadow. On the 4th morning, everything exploded. Kayla was at Dae-Won's apartment alone, working on translations at his dining table, when someone pounded on the door. Not knocked, pounded, aggressive, and angry. "Kayla, I know you're in there. We need to talk." Marcus. Her heart stopped. She grabbed her phone, texting Dae-Won immediately while backing away from the door. "He is here, at your apartment. What do I do?" The pounding continued, harder now. "You cannot hide forever. That man you are with, he threatened me, threatened my job, my family. You think that is love. He is controlling you." Dae-Won's response came instantly. "Do not open the door. Security is on their way up. I am 10 minutes out." "Kayla, please." Marcus's voice changed, becoming desperate. "I just want to talk, to explain. She told me things about him, showed me things. He is dangerous. I am trying to protect you." Building security arrived before Kayla had to respond, their voices firm outside the door. She heard Marcus arguing, heard them telling him to leave or they would call the police. Finally, the sounds faded. Dae-Won burst through the door 7 minutes later, Sung-min right behind him. He pulled Kayla into his arms, holding her tight. "Are you okay? Did he hurt you?" "I'm fine. Security got here before anything happened, but he knew I was here." "How did he know?" "I am going to find out." Sung-min, pull security footage. "I want to know how he got into this building, who let him up, everything." Over the next hour, the story emerged. Sun-hee had given Marcus information, not just about where Kayla was staying, but about Dae-Won's schedule, his business, everything she knew. She had armed Marcus with knowledge and pointed him like a weapon. "She is escalating," Sung-min said grimly. "This is not just about breaking you up anymore. She is trying to create real damage." "Then we stop playing defense and go on offense," Dae-Won said. "I am done with warnings. Time for action." "What kind of action?" Kayla asked. "The kind that ensures they never bother us again. Trust me?" She looked at his face, at the determination and love she saw there, and nodded. "Always." The next day, everything changed again, this time in their favor. Sung-min had spent the night digging into Sun-hee's current business dealings. What he found was explosive. She had been embezzling from her own company, funneling money into offshore accounts, preparing to disappear. More than that, she had been setting up one of her business partners to take the fall. "We could give this information to the authorities," Sung-min explained. "Or we could give it directly to the business partner she is betraying. Let them handle it internally." "The second option," Dae-Won said immediately, "and make sure they know where the information came from. Sun-hee needs to understand what happens when she comes after my family." For Marcus, the solution was simpler. The restraining order was granted, backed by evidence of stalking, breaking and entering, and harassment. But more than that, Sung-min had discovered Marcus was on probation for previous theft charges. His recent behavior violated that probation. One call to his probation officer, and Marcus would be facing jail time. "Are you sure?" Dae-Won asked Kayla. "This will have serious consequences for him. He made his choices. He could have moved on with his life. Instead, he chose to stalk me, to threaten us, to make me afraid in my own home. I am done feeling guilty about protecting myself." The call was made. Within 48 hours, both problems disappeared. Sun-hee fled the country ahead of investigations into her business dealings, her reputation destroyed. Marcus was arrested for violating probation. The restraining order ensured he would not be able to come near Kayla even after his release. It was finally over. "I still cannot believe it is done," Kayla said, standing on Dae-Won's balcony looking out at the city. "After everything, we are actually free. Not just free, we are together, stronger than before." He wrapped his arms around her from behind, resting his chin on her shoulder. "I have something to ask you." "What?" "Move in with me, officially, not just staying here because it is safe, but because this is our home. Make it real." "Yes," she said without hesitation. "Absolutely yes." They spent the next week moving her things, combining their lives in tangible ways. Her books on his shelves, her art on his walls. their clothes mixed in the closet. It felt right, like coming home. 1 month later, on a Saturday morning, Dae-Won woke her up early. "Get dressed. Something nice. We are going somewhere." "Where?" "It is a surprise. Trust me." He drove them back to the Seattle Convention Center, the place where they had first met. It was closed for the weekend, but Dae-Won had a key. He led her inside through the empty halls until they reached the exact spot where she had spilled coffee on his shoes. The space had been transformed, white roses everywhere, hundreds of them, candles flickering in the morning light, a string quartet playing softly in the corner. "Dae-Won," she breathed. "What is this?" He took both her hands, his eyes shining with emotion. "This is where my life changed, where I met a woman who spoke Italian like music and looked at me like I was worth knowing, where I started falling in love before I even knew what was happening. I remember you were so confident, so sure I would say yes to dinner. I was terrified you would say no. But I had to try. You were too important not to." He released one of her hands, reaching into his pocket. When he dropped to one knee, Kayla's breath caught. "Kayla, these past months have been the most challenging and the most wonderful of my life. You have seen the worst of my past, the complications of my present, and you chose to stay anyway. You chose me, and I choose you. Every day, forever." He opened the small box, revealing a ring that sparkled in the candlelight. "Will you marry me? Will you build this life with me? Will you be my partner, my love, my home?" Tears streamed down her face as she nodded. "Yes, yes, absolutely, yes." He slid the ring on her finger, then stood and kissed her, deep and sweet. Around them, the quartet played louder, triumphant. Kayla laughed against his lips, dizzy with happiness. "How did you do all this?" "Sung-min helped, and I may have bribed building security, but it was worth it to see your face right now." They stood there in the place where it all began, holding each other, planning their future. Dae-Won told her he had already spoken to her mother, had asked for her blessing via video call. Kayla's mother had cried and said yes immediately, already planning the Ethiopian wedding traditions they would include. "She wants to meet you in person," Kayla said. "She is going to fly out next month." "I cannot wait. I want to know everything about you, including where you came from." They decided on a small ceremony, just close family and friends. Nothing flashy, nothing performative, just real and intimate and true. 2 months later, they stood on a bluff overlooking Puget Sound, the water sparkling in the afternoon sun. Kayla wore a simple white dress with Ethiopian embroidery along the hem, a nod to her heritage. Dae-Won wore a traditional Korean hanbok jacket over Western suit pants, honoring his culture while embracing their new life together. Her mother stood beside her, tears flowing freely. Dae-Won's sister had flown in from Seoul, and she and Kayla had bonded immediately over their shared experience of loving complicated men. Sung-min stood as best man, grinning ear to ear. The ceremony was short but perfect. They exchanged vows they had written themselves, promises of honesty and loyalty and partnership. When the officiant pronounced them married, they kissed to cheers and applause from their small gathering. At the reception held at the beach house where they had first connected, Kayla found herself alone with Dae-Won for a moment on the porch. "How are you feeling, Mrs. Choi?" "Perfect, complete, like everything that happened, all the pain and fear and struggle, led us exactly here." "Me too." He pulled her close, swaying to music drifting from inside. "I love you, more than I thought possible to love anyone." "I love you too. Thank you for not giving up on us, even when I doubted." "Never. I knew from that first moment, when you looked up at me with coffee everywhere, that you were going to change my life. I just did not realize how completely." As the sun set over the water, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, they stood together watching, planning their honeymoon to Italy and Ethiopia, visiting both their roots, talking about Kayla's translation business, which was finally launching next month with Dae-Won's support, dreaming about the family they might build, the life they would create. "Do you ever regret it?" Kayla asked quietly. "Everything that happened to get us here? Not for a second. The hard parts made us stronger, made us sure." "I feel the same way. It was not easy, but it was worth it." They went back inside to their guests to celebration and joy. Sung-min gave a toast about how Dae-Won had been lost before Kayla and how she had brought light back into his life. Kayla's mother spoke about watching her daughter survive heartbreak and emerge stronger, about the pride she felt seeing Kayla choose love despite fear. Later, when everyone had left and they were alone in the beach house, Dae-Won carried Kayla over the threshold of the bedroom. "Starting our forever officially," he murmured against her lips. "Forever sounds perfect." They made love slowly, savoring every touch, every kiss. This was different from before. This was married love, committed love. The kind that knew all the scars and loved anyway. The kind that had been tested and survived. Afterward, wrapped in each other, Kayla thought about how her life had changed. How one moment, one spilled coffee, one chance encounter had led to all of this. How speaking Italian that random day had brought her the love and family she had always dreamed of, but thought she had lost the chance for. "Thank you," she whispered. "For what?" "For seeing me that day, for asking me to dinner, for not giving up when things got hard, for loving me even when I made it difficult. You never made it difficult. You made it real. That is better than easy any day." They fell asleep like that, tangled together in the place where they had first admitted they were falling, where they had first made love, where they had built the foundation of everything that came after. Outside, the ocean whispered against the shore, constant and eternal. Inside, two people who had found each other against all odds slept peacefully, their future bright and full of promise. The story that had started with spilled coffee and Italian words had become something neither of them expected, something beautiful and real and strong. A love that had survived doubt and danger in outside forces trying to tear them apart. And now, it was forever. They're forever. Together. If Kayla and Dae-Won's journey touched your heart, make sure to subscribe for more emotional romance stories. Comment where you're watching from and which moment made you feel the strongest. Your support helps us create even more beautiful stories for you.